The ground shook again. Hanna felt the metal floor shake under her feet as she walked through the dark tunnel. She was checking the water pipes like she did every day. The mining station on planet Kepler 442b was old. Things broke all the time. Just another small earthquake, she said to herself. The planet had many earthquakes. Everyone was used to them. Hanna was 19 years old. She had been working as a junior engineer for 6 months. She fixed pipes, checked machines, and helped keep the station running. It was not exciting work, but it was important. 800 people lived on this station. They needed clean water and air to live. The tunnel was narrow and dark. Hanna carried a bright flashlight. She wore a hard hat and work clothes. Her tools hung from her belt. She was small, but she was strong from all the hard work. Above her, something watched. Veltar stood on the rocky hill above the human station. He was tall and thin. His skin was gray like stone. He had 4 arms and large black eyes. His people were called the Cathara. They were part of something bigger called the Hegemony. The Hegemony was a group of alien races. They ruled many planets. They thought they were better than humans. They thought humans were weak and stupid. Soon, they would attack all human colonies. They would kill everyone, but first they needed to watch. They needed to learn about human weakness. Veltar had been watching this station for 3 days. He saw humans work hard every day. He saw them help each other. He saw them smile and laugh. But he also saw them get tired. He saw them make mistakes. He saw them get hurt. Weak creatures, he thought. They cannot even keep their machines working right. In the tunnel, Hanna stopped at pipe number 47. Water was leaking from a joint. She got down on her knees and opened her toolbox. The floor was wet and cold. "Donghain, this is Hanna," she said into her radio. "I found the leak at section 47. It will take me 20 minutes to fix it." "Good work, Hanna," came the voice of her supervisor. "Be careful down there." Donghain was 35 years old. He had worked at the station for 10 years. He was kind to Hanna and not her many things. He treated her like a little sister. Hanna started to work on the pipe. She used a wrench to turn the bolts. The water stopped leaking. She smiled. She was getting better at this job every day. That was when the big earthquake hit. The ground moved hard from side to side. The tunnel walls shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Hanna heard loud cracking sounds. She grabbed her flashlight and tried to stand up. A large piece of the ceiling fell down. It hit her right leg. She screamed and fell to the ground. The heavy concrete pinned her leg. She could not move. More pieces fell. The tunnel filled with dust. Hanna could not see anything. She coughed and tried to breathe. Her leg hurt so much that she felt sick. "Help!" she shouted. "Help me!" But her voice was small in the broken tunnel. The dust made it hard to talk. She felt around for her radio. She found it, but the screen was cracked. "Donghain!" She called into the radio. "Donghain, can you hear me?" Static noise came from the radio. Then she heard a weak voice. "Hanna? Hanna, where are you? I'm trapped in section 47. The ceiling fell down. I can't move. We're coming." "Don't worry, we're coming." But Hanna could hear fear in Donghain's voice. The earthquake had damaged many parts of the station. There were probably other emergencies too. Up on the hill, Veltar watched the station. He saw humans running around. They looked scared and confused. Some buildings had cracks in them. Smoke came from one area. "Perfect," he thought. "Now we will see how weak they really are." He used his scanner to look through the station. He could see heat signatures of all the humans. Most were running to safe areas, but one heat signature was not moving. It was trapped under the ground. Veltar focused his scanner on that spot. He could see Hanna trapped under the concrete. He could see that she was hurt. He could see that she was scared. "This will be interesting," he said to himself. "Let's see how long this human can last." In the tunnel, Hanna tried to move the concrete off her leg, but it was too heavy. Every time she moved, pain shot through her body. She could feel blood on her leg. Her flashlight was broken. She was in complete darkness. The air was full of dust. She was having trouble breathing. Stay calm, she told herself. Think, what can you do? She felt around with her hands. She found some of her tools. She found a small emergency light. She turned it on. The weak light showed her the terrible situation. The concrete piece was huge. It was twice as big as her. There was no way she could lift it alone. The tunnel was blocked in both directions. She was completely trapped. Her radio crackled again. Now we're trying to get to you. The main tunnel is blocked. We have to find another way. How long will it take? She asked. There was a long pause. Maybe an hour, maybe more. The whole section is unstable. An hour. Hanna looked at her leg. It was bleeding badly. The concrete was so heavy that she could not feel her foot. She knew that was a bad sign. She closed her eyes and tried to think. She was an engineer. Engineers solved problems. There had to be a way. Of her, Veltar watched and waited. In his experience, humans gave up quickly when they were hurt. They cried and waited for others to save them. Soon, this human girl would break down. She would prove that humans were weak. He had time to watch. This would be educational. Hanna opened her eyes. She looked at the concrete again. She looked at her tools. She looked at the broken tunnel. I'm not going to die here, she said quietly. She picked up her wrench and started to work. Veltar leaned forward. This was not what he expected. Hanna stared at the concrete that trapped her leg. The piece was big and heavy, but she was an engineer. She knew about weight and force. She knew about simple machines. If I can't lift it, maybe I can move it, she said to herself. She looked around the tunnel with her small emergency light. There were metal pipes everywhere. Some were broken from the earthquake. She could use them. Hanna grabbed a long metal pipe. It was as thick as her arm. She pushed one end under the concrete. Then she found a smaller piece of concrete to use. As a support, a lever, she said. Simple physics. She put the pipe on the small concrete piece. Now she had a lever. She pushed down on the long end of the pipe. The concrete moved a little bit. Pain shot through her leg. She bit her lip to stop from screaming. But the concrete had moved. Just a little, but it had moved. Up on the hill, Veltar watched through his scanner. He was confused. Most injured creatures would lie still and wait for help. But this human was working. She was using tools. Interesting, he said. But it will not work. The concrete is too heavy. In the tunnel, Hanna rested for a moment. Her leg hurt badly. She was bleeding. The air was still full of dust. But she was thinking clearly. She tried the lever again. The concrete moved a few more inches, but it was still pinning her leg. She needed a better plan. Hanna looked at the broken tunnel around her. Water was leaking from the pipes she had been fixing. The water was making a small stream on the floor. Water, she said. I can use water. She found her pipe wrench. She used it to break open more water pipes. Soon, water was flowing under the concrete. The water washed away the dirt and small rocks. Now the concrete will slide easier, she said. She used the lever again. This time the concrete moved more. The water helped it slide. Hanna pulled her leg toward her body. The concrete was still heavy, but now there was a small space. Her radio crackled. Hanna, how are you doing? It was Dong Hyen's voice. I'm working on getting out, she said. But I need to tell you something important. What is it? Hanna looked at the broken tunnel walls. She saw cracks everywhere. She saw water flowing where it should not flow. The earthquake damaged more than just my tunnel, she said. The water system is broken. Check the main water tank. I think it might be cracked. There was silence on the radio. Then Dong Hyen's voice came back. How do you know that? I can see how the water is flowing. The pressure is wrong. If the main tank is broken, the whole station will run out of water in 2 days. Up on the hill, Veltar listened to the human radio signals. He was surprised. This injured human was not just trying to save herself. She was thinking about other humans too. Foolish, he thought. She should focus on her own survival. In Veltar's culture, the Kithara, injured individuals were left behind. They were considered weak and useless. The strong ones moved on without them. This was the natural way. But this human was different. Even while trapped and hurt, she was trying to help others. In the tunnel, Hanna continued working. She broke more pipes to get more water. She used the lever again and again. Each time the concrete moved a little more. Her hands were cut from the sharp metal. Her leg was bleeding badly. But she did not stop. She could not stop. Other people needed the water system to be fixed. So Young, she said into her radio. Are you there? I'm here, Hanna, came the voice of her fellow engineer. So Young was Hanna's friend. They had started working at the station on the same day. I need you to check valve number 12 in the main water room, Hanna said. If I'm right about the tank, that valve will be showing red. I'm going there now, So Young said. Now use the lever again. The concrete moved another inch. She could feel her leg now. That was good. But it also meant she could feel how much it hurt. She looked at her leg in the small light. It was badly hurt. The skin was torn. There was a lot of blood. She might not be able to walk on it for a long time, but she was alive. And she was going to stay alive. Hanna. So Young's voice came through the radio. The valve is red. You were right. The main tank is cracked. I knew it, Hanna said. Close valve number 12. Then open valve number 8. That will switch to the backup tank. But the backup tank only has enough water for 1 day, So Young said. I know, Hanna said. But that gives us time to fix the problem. Up on the hill, Veltar was very confused now. This human was solving problems while she was trapped and hurt. She was making plans. She was helping others. In his culture, pain made you weak. Pain made you stupid. But this human seemed to be getting stronger. She was thinking more clearly, not less clearly. This is not normal, he said to himself. Hanna worked for another hour. She used the lever many times. She broke more pipes. She made the concrete slide in the water. Slowly, very slowly, she got her leg free. When the concrete finally moved off her leg, she almost fainted from the pain. But she stayed awake. She had more work to do. She looked at her leg. It was badly hurt, but it was not broken. She could move it. She tore a piece of cloth from her shirt and tied it around the wound to stop the bleeding. Donghayan, she said into the radio. I'm free. My leg is hurt, but I can move. That's great. We're almost to you. Wait, Hanna said. Before you come get me, I need to check something. She crawled through the tunnel. Her leg hurt with every movement, but she had to see the damage. She had to understand what the earthquake had done. What she found was worse than she thought. The earthquake had cracked the main support beam for this section of the station. If it broke completely, the whole area would collapse. 50 people lived in the rooms above. We have a bigger problem, she said into the radio. Up on the hill, Veltar watched the human crawl through the broken tunnel. She was hurt. She was bleeding. She should be crying for help. Instead, she was working. She was solving problems. She was protecting others. For the first time in his life, Veltar felt something he had never felt before. He felt respect for another species. What are you? He whispered. Hanna crawled closer to the cracked support beam. She shined her small light on it. The crack was long and deep. It went almost all the way through the metal beam. This is very bad, she said to herself. She touched the crack with her finger. She could feel the beam moving slightly. The weight of the station above was making the crack bigger. Donghayan, she said into her radio. Stop, don't come down here yet. What's wrong? Came his voice. The main support beam is cracked. If it breaks, this whole section will fall down. All the rooms above us will collapse. There was silence on the radio. Then Donghayan spoke again. His voice was worried. How bad is it? Hanna looked at the crack again. She had studied engineering. For 4 years, she knew about metal stress and weight limits. Very bad, she said. Maybe we have 1 hour before it breaks completely. We need to get you out of there right now, Donghayan said. No, Hanna said. If I leave, 50 people will die when this section collapses. Hanna, you're hurt. You can't fix this alone. I have to try. Up on the hill, Veltar listened to the human radio signals. He was amazed. This human was choosing to stay in danger to help others. In his culture, this was impossible to understand. Among the Cathara, only the strongest survived. The weak were left behind. If you were hurt, you were abandoned. This was the natural order, but this human was doing the opposite. She was hurt, but she was staying to help others. She was choosing their safety over her own. Madness, Veltar whispered. Complete madness. In the tunnel, Hanna looked at her tools. She had a wrench, a hammer, and some spare bolts. She had broken pipes and flowing water. She had emergency lights. It was not much, but engineers work with what they have. I need to support the beam, she said. I need to take the weight off it. She looked around the tunnel. There were other pipes and metal pieces. She could use them to make a temporary support. Hanna started to work. She dragged a heavy pipe over to the cracked beam. Her hurt leg made every movement painful. But she did not stop. She used her hammer to bend the pipe into the right shape. She used her wrench to tighten bolts. She made a metal brace that would hold some of the weight. So Young, she said into the radio. Are you still there? I'm here, Hanna. I need you to do something important. Go to storage room, get all the metal support brackets. Bring them to the tunnel entrance. Why? I'm going to need them to fix this beam properly. Hanna, you should come up here. Let the repair team handle this. The repair team will take too long to get here. This beam will break before they arrive. Hanna finished making her first support brace. She pushed it into place under the cracked beam. The brace took some of the weight. The beam stopped moving. Good, she said, but I need more. She crawled to another part of the tunnel. Her leg was bleeding again. The bandage was soaked with blood. But she kept working. She found more metal pieces. She made another brace, then another. Each one took some weight off the cracked beam. Her radio crackled. Hanna, this is Captain Kim. It was the voice of the station commander. I'm ordering you to leave that tunnel immediately. I can't do that, sir, Hanna said. If I leave, the beam will break. 50 people will die. That's not your responsibility. You're just a junior engineer? I'm the only engineer who can see. The problem right now, Hanna said. I'm the only one who can fix it. Captain Kim was silent for a moment. Then he spoke again. What do you need? I need the repair team to bring more support brackets. I need them to bring welding equipment. And I need them to evacuate the people from the rooms above me. Consider it done, Captain Kim said. Up on the hill, Veltar was confused. The human commander was listening to the injured junior engineer. He was following her orders. In Cathara culture, only the strongest gave orders, the weak followed. But these humans were doing something different. They were listening to the one who understood. The problem best, not the one who was strongest. How strange, Veltar thought. How very strange. In the tunnel, Hanna continued working. She made more braces. She positioned them carefully under the beam. Each one helped a little, but she could see that the crack was still growing. The beam was still under too much stress. She needed to do more. So Young, she said into the radio. Did you bring the brackets? They're at the tunnel entrance, So Young said. But we can't get them to you. The tunnel is too unstable. Then I'll come get them, Hanna said. She started to crawl toward the tunnel entrance. Her leg hurt terribly. Every movement was agony. But she kept moving. The tunnel was full of debris. She had to climb over fallen concrete. She had to squeeze through narrow spaces. Sometimes she had to stop and rest because the pain was too much, but she never stopped completely. She always started moving again. When she reached the tunnel entrance, she found So Young waiting with the brackets. Hanna, you look terrible, So Young said. Your leg is bleeding badly. I'm fine, Hanna said. Help me carry these brackets back to the beam. I'll carry them. You rest. No, Hanna said. I know where they need to go. I have to place them myself. The two young women crawled back through the tunnel together. So Young carried most of the brackets. Hanna guided her to the right spots. Here, Hanna said. Put this one here and this one here. They worked together to install the brackets. Each one made the beam a little stronger. Each one bought them a little more time. How many more do we need? So Young asked. Han-Na looked at the beam. The crack had stopped growing. The beam was stable now. But it was only temporary. We need to weld a steel plate over the crack, she said. That will make it strong enough to last until we can replace the whole beam. The welding team is on their way, So Young said. Good, Han-Na said, but I need to stay here and guide them. I'm the only one who knows exactly where the weak spots are. Up on the hill, Veltar watched the two human females work together. The injured one was still giving instructions. The healthy one was following them without question. They were not competing. They were not fighting. They were cooperating. In his culture, two individuals would fight for the right to lead. The stronger would dominate the weaker. But these humans were working as a team. This is not how survival works, Veltar said to himself. This is not natural. But as he watched, he saw that it was working. The humans were succeeding. They were solving their problem together. For the first time, Veltar began to wonder if the hegemony was wrong about humans. Maybe cooperation was not weakness. Maybe it was strength. In the tunnel, Han-Na waited for the welding team to arrive. Her leg was very painful now. She was tired. She was covered in blood and dirt. But she was not giving up. She would not give up until the job was done. I will not let anyone die today, she said quietly. Above her, 50 people slept safely in their rooms. They did not know that a young engineer was risking her life to protect them, but Veltar knew. And he was beginning to understand that humans were not what the hegemony thought they were. They were something much more dangerous. They were something that cared about each other more than themselves. The welding team arrived 2 hours later. Han-Na was still in the tunnel, watching the cracked beam. Her leg was very painful, but she had not moved from her position. We're here, Han-Na, said Jin-Ho, the head welder. Show us what needs to be done. Han-Na pointed to the crack in the beam. We need to weld a steel plate right here. The plate needs to be thick and strong. Jin-Ho looked at the crack. This is bad, very bad. If this beam breaks, the whole section will collapse. That's why we have to fix it right, Han-Na said. I've put temporary supports in place, but the weld has to be perfect. The welding team got to work. Han-Na stayed close to guide them. She told them exactly where to weld. She made sure they did it correctly. The welding took 3 hours. The tunnel filled with bright sparks and smoke. The metal got very hot, but slowly the crack was covered with new, strong metal. Done, Jin-Ho said. The beam is strong again. Han-Na tested the beam with her hands. It felt solid. The crack was completely covered. Good job, she said. Now 50 people can sleep safely tonight. Up on the hill, Veltar had watched everything. He had seen the human girl work for 6 hours straight. She was hurt and tired, but she never gave up. She stayed until the job was finished. Impossible, he whispered. This goes against everything we know. In his culture, injured individuals were weak. They could not work. They could not lead. They were abandoned, but this human had been stronger while injured than most Cathara were when healthy. She had solved problems. She had saved lives. She had led a team. Veltar contacted his command ship in space. This is Scout Veltar, he said. I need to speak with War Commander Thexanel. Report, Scout, came the deep voice of his commander. Sir, I have been watching the humans for 3 days. They are not what we thought they were. Explain. They do not abandon their weak. They do not compete with each other. They work together. They help each other. And it makes them stronger, not weaker. There was silence. Then War Commander Thexanel spoke again. You have been watching too long, Scout. You are starting to think like them. This is why we study enemies from a distance. Sir, I watched one injured human save 50 others. She worked for 6 hours while hurt. She never gave up. She never stopped thinking. This is not weakness. It is emotion, the war commander said. Emotion makes creatures do stupid things. Tomorrow we attack. You will see how weak they really are. The communication ended. Veltar looked down at the human station. The lights were on. People were moving around. They were safe because of what Han-Na had done. Maybe emotion is not weakness, he said to himself. Maybe it is something else. The next morning, Han-Na was in the medical room. Dr. Young-ho was treating her leg. The wound was clean, but deep. You need to rest, the doctor said. Your leg will take weeks to heal properly. I can't rest, Han-Na said. I need to check all the other support beams. The earthquake might have damaged more than just one. Han-Na, you did enough yesterday. Let others handle it now. But I know what to look for. I know how to spot the damage, Dr. Young-ho smiled. You're stubborn. But that's what saved 50 people yesterday. Han-Na was about to answer when alarms started ringing throughout the station. Red lights flashed on the walls. Attention all personnel, came Captain Kim's voice over the speakers. We have multiple unknown ships approaching. This is not a drill. Report to emergency stations. Han-Na tried to stand up, but her leg gave out. Dr. Young-ho caught her. You're not going anywhere, he said. Your leg can't support you, but I can help, Han-Na said. I know the station systems better than anyone. Then help from here. Use the computer to monitor the systems. Up in space, the hegemony fleet approached the human station. There were 20 ships, all armed with powerful weapons. They expected an easy victory. War Commander Thexanol sat in his command chair. Begin the attack, he ordered. But before the fleet could fire, they received a message on an emergency channel. Hegemony Fleet, this is Scout Veltar. I have important information about the humans. Do not attack yet. Scout Veltar, return to your ship immediately, the War Commander ordered. Sir, the humans are not what we thought. They are not weak. They are dangerous in ways we do not understand. Dangerous? They have no military ships. They have no weapons. They are miners and engineers. That is exactly why they are dangerous, Veltar said. They can turn anything into a weapon. They can solve any problem. They never give up. On the station, Captain Kim was in the command center. He was looking at the scanner screens. 20 ships, he said, all armed. We have no weapons. We have no military ships. What can we do? Asked Dorhayan. We fight, Captain Kim said. We use whatever we have. In the medical room, Han-Na was watching the station systems on a computer screen. She saw power levels, air pressure, water flow. She saw everything. Doctor, she said, I have an idea. What? Is it the mining equipment? We can use it as weapons? The industrial lasers can cut through ship hulls. The gravity generators can pull ships off course. That's crazy, Dr. Young-ho said. Mining equipment is not made for fighting. But it's what we have, Han-Na said. And if we're smart about it, we can make it work. She started typing on the computer. She was sending instructions to all the engineers on the station. Taemin, she said into the radio. Can you hear me? I'm here, Han-Na. I need you to redirect the main mining laser. Point it at the lead ship. But don't fire yet. Wait for my signal. Are you sure about this? Trust me, Han-Na said. All over the station. Engineers were following Han-Na's instructions. They were turning mining equipment into weapons. They were preparing for a fight they never thought they would have to fight. Up in space, Veltar made a decision. He turned his ship toward the station. If you attack the humans, you attack me too, he said to his commander. You are a traitor, War Commander Thexanol said. No, Veltar said. I'm someone who has learned something new. I choose to stand with the humans. The battle began. The hegemony ships fired their weapons. But the humans were ready. Han-Na coordinated the defense from the medical room. She used the mining equipment like a conductor uses an orchestra. Every piece of equipment had a purpose. Every person had a job. The industrial lasers cut through enemy ship hulls. The gravity generators pulled ships into asteroids. The mining explosives damaged enemy engines. The humans fought with tools, not weapons, but they fought smart. They worked together. They never gave up. After 2 hours, the hegemony fleet retreated. Half their ships were damaged. They had not destroyed a single human building. Impossible, War Commander Thexenel said. They had no weapons. They had something better, Veltar said. They had each other. 6 months later, Hanna was the chief safety engineer for the entire mining sector. Her leg had healed, but she still walked with a small limp. She was in her office, writing new safety procedures. The Hanna protocols were now used on every human station. They had saved hundreds of lives. Hanna, said a voice from the doorway. It was Veltar. He now worked at the station, helping humans and sharing alien technology. Hello, Veltar, Hanna said. How are you today? I am well. I wanted to thank you again. For what? For teaching me what strength really means. Hanna smiled. I didn't teach you anything. I was just doing my job. No, Veltar said. You taught me that taking care of others is not weakness. It is the strongest thing anyone can do. They walked together to the main engineering room. Bahram, a new junior engineer, was there. She was Hanna's student. Bahram, Hanna said. Show me what you learned today. The young engineer showed Hanna how to check support beams for cracks. She showed her how to fix water pipes. She showed her how to solve problems. Good, Hanna said. But remember, engineering is not just about fixing things. It's about protecting people. I understand, Bahram said. Do you? Let me tell you a story about the day I got trapped in a tunnel. Hanna told Bahram about the earthquake. She told her about the cracked beam. She told her about the choice she made to stay and help others. Were you scared? Bahram asked. Very scared, Hanna said. But fear is not the enemy. Giving up is the enemy. What if I'm not strong enough? Strength is not about your muscles, Hanna said. It's about caring enough to keep trying. It's about putting others first. It's about never giving up. Bahram nodded. I will remember that. Outside the station, more ships were arriving. They were not hegemony ships. They were ships from other alien races. They had heard about the humans. They wanted to learn from them. Word had spread across the galaxy. The humans had defeated a superior enemy force using only mining equipment and teamwork. They had turned their weakness into strength. Other alien races began to question the hegemony. If humans could do this, what else were they capable of? In his office, Captain Kim was talking to representatives from 5 different alien races. They all wanted to make alliances with the humans. We offer technology, said one alien. We offer protection, said another. We offer friendship, said a third. What do you want in return? Captain Kim asked. We want to learn, they all said. We want to understand how you do what you do, Captain Kim smiled. Then you're welcome here, but remember, we're not special because we're strong. We're special because we take care of each other. That evening, Hanna stood on the observation deck. She looked out at the stars. Her leg hurt a little, but she was used to it now. It reminded her of the day everything changed. Veltar joined her. Do you ever regret it? He asked. The choice you made in the tunnel? Never, Hanna said. That day I learned something important. We're not just trying to survive. We're trying to build something better. We're trying to make sure everyone can survive. The galaxy is changing because of what you did, Veltar said. The galaxy is changing because of what we all did, Hanna said. I was just the one who stayed. In the tunnel. They stood together in comfortable silence. Around them, the station hummed with activity. Humans and aliens worked side by side. They were building something new. Something better? Hanna had learned that 15 minutes of suffering could change everything. Not because suffering was good, but because how you respond to suffering shows who you really are. And humans, she had learned, were the kind of people who would never give up on each other. In the distance, more ships were approaching. They carried the symbol of the hegemony. But this time, they were not coming to attack. They were coming to surrender. The age of human dominance had begun. Not through conquest, but through compassion. Not through strength, but through stubbornness. Not through violence, but through the simple refusal to abandon anyone in need. Hanna smiled. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But she was not worried. Humans would face them together. They always did. And they would never give up.